Okay, I'm recording now. Let's just get into it now. Alright. New game. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Alright. Let's do this. Okay. I'm also hoping my voice isolation thing isn't too bad. I remember the controls. Like they remember. I don't know the controls. Yeah, where's the... Or no, it auto picks up, that's right.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a
I mean, I know that the game is
going
to be okay for the first, like, 3 hours, I think, or no, 2 hours before anything happens.
Now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about.
So I'm gonna be fine for a couple minutes.
Let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life.
Yeah, where's the...
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovery that damage or death have occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days.
Love doing the little...
and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached, and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. The animatronic characters here do get a bit...
So, fun fact, for any of you who might not know, this is the first actual horror game that I am genuinely playing.
I'd probably be a bit irritable at night, too. So remember,
most especially on my own. I've done some, like, horror Minecraft mod kind of things, but that's been with friends. I mean, I guess I don't need to check what they're doing.
The characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around.
Although power usage will be okay for the first time.
87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman here, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wired, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth that pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up. But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras.
It's gonna be a breeze, alright.
Only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night.
Just gonna check the cams occasionally for now. Okay, Bonnie has left, so let me check cam 1B. Yep, Bonnie is in the dining area still, so I'll be good for now. Oh yeah, I should check back at cam 1A. Yep. I keep on checking. That's all I can do for now. Lord. He can't move the first night. Foxy can't move the first night. Yeah, no. I'm like, what? I swear I heard him though. I'm not going crazy, right? That... Okay, Oh. Nope. I mean, mean. Okay, Bonnie is down there. Oop, did not mean to leave that on. Okay. A quick check. And Bonnie will be here any moment. Pretty sure, at least. Maybe not? Where's the... I don't know. Where did Bonnie go? Can Bonnie go? Oh, okay, that's like the one thing that I didn't check. Alright. Just gotta keep checking back every couple seconds. Whew. Yep, Foxy Facts Fair, you are so right. My heart is racing right now. Oh lord. Bonnie isn't there. Okay, Bonnie went back to there. It's already 4 a.m. Just gotta get to 6. That's it. Okay, Bonnie is back there. Which means, because I know like vaguely a little bit about how it works. But okay, at this point I shouldn't have to worry about Chico like at all. Whew. Yeah, no, because I've never actually really played a horror game before, my heart is racing a lot right now. Oh lord, I don't... really, I got that event of all things? That's like a random event that can happen sometimes. Alright. No? Yep. Yeah? Yeah, buddy? Oh wait, shoot, did not mean to. Come on. Bonnie, are you gonna... Come on, I at least want to have that happen for a second. Oh lord. Chica has left the stage, but I still shouldn't need to worry about her yet. Okay, close the door. That's what's gonna happen there. Yeah, Bonnie's still there. I mean, theoretically I could just leave the doors completely closed now, since I have enough power. But like, come on. Where's the fun in that? Like both doors, that is. Okay, Bonnie is gone, although... Well, no, because there's another movement cycle before he has a chance. And there we go, that's the first night. Dad texted me. That's weird that he's saying it kind of freezes after a minute. Whew. Yeah, even... Oh... Whew. I am so anxious right now. Even though it's literally just the second night.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it today,
Yeah, I guess I might as well.
congratulations. along this time, since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses, it might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, you know. Interestingly enough, Freddy himself...
Honestly, I'll probably do this night and then start on... My other plan for this stream, other than just FNAF, is playing... Or not playing, is starting to make a tier list of SCPs.
So if you can't find something or someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door light. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon.
Because already all the way over there. Whew. Come on, you got this. Oh yeah, I almost... Oh, Lord. Well, I guess Bonnie also has a... Oh, Lord. I did not mean to leave that. Hey, Bonnie is right there. Whew. Oh. Come on. Breathe. Come on. I mean, this isn't even that bad, I'm just anxious. Whew. Oh, Lord. I mean, I know this is how typically most people play, is to kinda... Boom. 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 Okay. Okay. That wasn't that bad. Whew! I've got to check that. Got to check Pirate Cove. Just a little quick check on there. Oh. Okay, now she's back there anyway. Freddy is also at the stage, and Bonnie is gone. Okay. Come on. There we go. Door. And... Okay. Oh, Lord. Foxy is... How long do I have to stare at him? I don't know. I mean, can I even make him go back in? Oh God, not that. I did not need that right now. Oh. It worked! That little jump scare thing worked. Okay. Boom. Boom. It's not, because I'm hearing footsteps. Okay. Yep. Thank you, Bonnie. Boom. 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 Getting into the rhythm of it, you know? Boom. Boom. Yep. Whew! Oh yeah. Come on. Switch to 5 already. Oh. Hi. Yep. Yep, she's still in the window. Whew. Didn't get me as much that time. And Bonnie, okay. Is Chica? Yep, Chica's still there as well. It's 5 a.m. I can honestly just leave these like that. And I'm scared, so I'm gonna. I mean, even if it gets to the one thing, it's not gonna be that bad because I should time out before Freddy has a chance to actually get me. Right? Uh-oh. I gotta leave him down anyway, but... Come on. Please. Again, I'm pretty confident that I'll make it, but... Come on. Please. Please. Get to 6. Get to 6. Please. Please. Come on. Oh! Oh! There we go. Okay. I am very happy with that. Okay. As I said, whew, I'm gonna end it there on that for now. Might come back to it later. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, dude. But I am gonna work on an SCP tier list. There's a format that I found that's just like numbers basically, and so I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna go through that. Hang on, let me get this back up. And hang on, let me switch this to boop and add source. Realized I hadn't done that yet. Hang on. Make sure this is the... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so... Oh wait, this is... That should probably be below my video capture. There we go. So, This is the tier list. I'm gonna edit it a bit and everything. Hang on, delete row and delete row. And I'm going to start going through the first 100 SCPs. Actually, it does go up to 200. So I can try and do really just as many as I can. I don't really have a specific time limit on this. So I'm not going to do 001 today, of course, because that's going to be a lot of ones right there. So 002, the living room. Honestly, this one, I do remember this one. It isn't my favorite. Basically, what it is just like, I guess I can just read it. SCP-002 resembles a tumorous, fleshy growth with volume of roughly 60 meters cubed, or 2,000 cubic feet. An iron valve hatch on one side leads to its interior, which appears to be a standard low-rent apartment of modest size. One wall of the room possesses a single window, though no such opening is visible from the exterior. The room contains furniture which, upon close examination, appears to be sculpted bone, woven hair, and various other biological substances produced by the human body. All matter tested thus far show independent or fragmented DNA sequences for each object in the room. Refer to the Mulhausen report for details related to objects discovery. And then basically what it gets at down here. Oh yeah, I should probably also change my stream title in a second. But what it gets at down here is just like basically if you're in there too long kind of thing. It just turns you into like some of the furniture kind of thing, which I think is definitely interesting. And like for the series 1 of SCPs, aka the first 1000 SCPs, I think it's actually pretty decent. But again, it's not the best. I would put it at a solid A tier, personally. Let me change my stream title though real quick. Hang on. SCP tier. And I'm going to change it to just chatting. Sorry, changing the stream things real quick. By the way, Tori, thank you for following me. All right. Number 3, biological motherboard. Yeah, it's... Actually, I don't really remember this one. I'm basically just going to be... Like, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to look at the SCPs, kind of read through it a bit. If there's anything interesting, I'll obviously read over it more thoroughly. But... Yeah. Let's see. Isn't it? Yeah, this is like the same general kind of idea, I think is what it's saying. Hang on. Wait, hold on. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so if you end up touching it, it ends up kind of... It basically eats your matter, your organic matter, which will result in it, turning you into part of it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Honestly, and I mean, I will say a lot of the Series 1 SCPs are like... Oh, hold on, you said DMs, let me check that. Hold on. What's up? Hang on. Give me just a moment. Look behind me. What's behind me? I don't understand. You didn't give context for that. All you said is it's behind you. Is it Freddy Fazbear? Is Freddy behind me? He would be. Oh yeah, let me actually. Um I'd say I'd say another solid, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably A tier is what I would say though. It's gone. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'm recording this, so I can go back and look later, see what it was, you know? Um, but a lot of the first series SCPs had to do with, like, oh, this thing will transform you into XYZ. Um, which, like, it's a decent enough concept. I get why they used it a lot, but at the same time, um, this one I really don't know too well. It's the skeleton key, SCP-004. So when handling items -2 through -13, proper procedure is vital. The items are not permitted to be moved off-site unless accompanied by 2 level 4 security personnel. Uh-oh. That's weird. And let's see. So it's an old wooden barn door and then a bunch of keys. Okay. Or no, this isn't the skeleton. This is the... Yeah, no, skeleton key is 05, that's right. There we go. Yeah, that makes more sense now. I'm like, wait, what? The door itself is the entrance to an abandoned factory in Data Expunge. So, group of 3 juveniles trespassing on federal property near blank find the door. According to their testimony, they found a set of rusted keys in an iron lockbox and determined what door the keys unlock. The juveniles are taken into custody after they contact Sheriff Blank when one of their friends, SCP-004, I'm assuming that's Casualty 01, goes missing. Okay, yeah, looking at the next one, that seems to be the case. Local authorities find the severed right hand of SCP-004, Casualty 01, 8 kilometers from SCP-004-1. Other parts of Casualty 1's body are found scattered as far as 32 kilometers from the factory. Under interrogation, the apprehended apprehended juveniles, jeez, tell authorities that upon opening the door with one of the keys, Casualty 1 was torn into several pieces, each of which disappeared. At this point, the SCP Foundation takes over the investigation. Actually, do I need to... Hang on. Let me see. Hang on. Nah, that's fine, yeah. Then the next day, SCP Agent Blank obtains the keys from the local authorities to begin testing. Tests show that -2 through -13 all fit into a single lock on the large barred door. 12 Class D personnel are assigned to test the effects of the door. One of the 12 test subjects, geez, I can't read, each trying a different key to enter the room, only 2 survive. Opening the door with any key except -7 or -12 caused the test subjects to be torn apart in multiple directions. Oh. However, no dismembered parts were found until later. At the time of writing, only 2 parts of each subject have been recovered, with the exception of the subject using 04-redacted, whose pieces were scattered in close proximity. The others have, for all intents and purposes, vanished from existence. Of the 2 surviving subjects, only one, -7, having used -7, returned unharmed. The other came back in a near catatonic state, only able able only to remove himself from the room and then collapse on the floor, and had to be restrained to prevent him from gouging out his eyes. See Appendix A, Mental Health Effects of SCP-004. The subject using -7 said that he had entered a large room, impossibly big for the size of the attached building. After his exit, -1 was propped open. That's the door. -1 was propped open, and an armed squad of level 3 personnel entered. The size of the room is impossible to measure, and the doorframe... and the doorframe and the individuals in the room are the only part of the room that can be felt or illuminated. Wow. And then, July 16th, 1949, the juvenile suspects and Sheriff Blank are terminated. That's a bit harsh, I think. They couldn't have used amnestics? August 2nd, 1949, the area is declared a hazardous area due to unexploded ordnance and fences erected in order to prevent civilian ingress. Tests to determine safety of exposure to environment behind -1 begin. December 1st of 1950, space-time anomalies resulting from exposure are confirmed. Testing is suspended until further notice. The unaccounted for remains of Casualty 1 appear unexpectedly outside 04-1. Despite being killed decades before, the remains of Casualty 1 are not decomposed in any manner and are still warm to the touch. Blood remains uncoagulated. The remains are remanded for testing. 2 days later, the unaccounted for remains of one of the 12 original test subjects appear in similar manner to those of Casualty 1. The remains have been designated Casualty 2. Records suggest that both Casualty 1 and Casualty 2 used SCP-004-redacted. 1999. With the massive proliferation of nuclear weapons in World War III only blank years away, construction has begun on a site inside of -1. The site is to stock supplies for blank person days. 1 month later, blank has ordered the site inside 04-1 to be expanded to include emergency storage for all mobile SCP-redacted specimens and a blank petabyte database for the storage of all SCP data. The facility is now referred to as Site 62. Site 62 is operational. Labs and containment units are complete and can contain the most dangerous specimens. Backup of the SCP database has begun. Due to time anomalies, see space-time anomalies below. All personnel working at Site 62 are now required to reside on-site permanently. Families of personnel are to be informed that loved ones perish in an industrial accident. Clone bodies have been prepared for funeral. 2003, massive power outage across northeast United States and through Canada. Due to the initial failure of multiple SCP generators, Site 62 was without power for 53 minutes. During those 53 minutes, those on site were completely without any source of light. They reported sensing creatures and people, although no abnormal entities could be seen or felt. Selected facility personnel were allowed to read blank Appendix A, and said the creatures sensed were of humanoid size, but otherwise similar to the massive green creature described. Interesting. SCP-004 seems to propagate spatio-temporal anomalies. Personnel leaving the facility report losing time. Those who have been in the site for weeks insist that they had only been in the facility for several days, and records of work completed and supplies consumed support their claims. Other temporal anomalies involve SCP-004-2 through -13, especially the reappearance of Casualty 1 and Casualty 2 exactly blank years after using 04-blank. Redacted has been assigned to investigate all aspects of these time anomalies. Spatial anomalies include the impossibly large dimensions of the area opened by -7. Similarly, the 2003 blackout incident suggests that there exists an alternate plane of existence within the same space that Site 62 occupies. Additional notes, testing on 004 reveals that 10 of the keys open SCP-004 on a dimension where the laws of physics and topology are significantly different than those of our home dimension. Test subjects meeting these hostile conditions are torn apart, their body parts deposited in various locations, only 3 of which have been verified to be on Earth. Material deposited at 2 of these points appears immediately. Material deposited at the 3rd appears exactly blank years into the future. The other 7 locations are currently unknown. So that's interesting. Current testing focuses on 2 avenues of research. The first is finding ways to survive 004's hostile topologies. The second, blank, I guess just data expunged, yeah, suggests that -2 through -13 may open doors other than -1. Appendix A, mental health effects of -12. All Class D personnel using -12 return in a catatonic state, unable to speak. Some may have regained enough energy left, or no, have enough energy left to try to claw their eyes out. Of the 16 subjects, only 4 have survived. Only 1 has regained speech following long-term psychotherapy. He was able to tell the psychiatrist that he saw a massive green creature, so large that much of its body extended beyond his field of view. He reported innate fear and sudden recognition, quote, as if it were something buried deep in his primal fears, unquote, and forced implantation of, quote, incomprehensible, unquote, memories. Subject displays acute anterograde and retrograde amnesia. Appendix B, additional information. -14. Wow. And date of discovery, September 2nd of 1950. Origin of object. Object was discovered elsewhere in factory area in the previously undiscovered manager's office. Description, object appears as a large, unvarnished wooden box. The box may be unlocked by the quote-unquote safe key, -7, as well as 5 of the quote-unquote unsafe keys. Upon unlocking -14 with -7, the box opens automatically on hinges. The volume of the space inside is precisely 5 times greater than the outer dimensions imply. Items placed within the lid remain... the items placed within while the lid remains open do not affect the weight or any other properties of the box. When the lid is closed and locked, however, all items inside vanish irretrievably. Personnel locked inside the box are also irretrievable, though losing personnel in this fashion appears to affect significantly the dreams experienced by data expunge. I'd say... honestly, I am gonna up my standards a bit here. I'm gonna say that that's an A tier. Yeah. Honestly. And then I'm moving the other 2 down to B, of course, because, yeah. I mean, the other two are vaguely interesting, but at the same time, you know, they're just, it makes you into XYZ. Alright, skeleton key, and actually I'm gonna do that. It's nice, it's short, it can just literally open any kind of lock, as it says. But, as it says down here, while SCP-005 has been shown to be effective in removing almost any form of locking device, further experiments have shown that efforts to disguise the purpose or identity of a lock have proven at least somewhat successful in defeating its ability. In approximately 50% of cases where a volunteer was not able to identify a locking device as such, SCP-005 was not successful in deactivating the device. Due to these results, it has been tentatively classified as, quote, sentient, and further tests are being run to determine its cognitive abilities. However, there are no results that show any traits that prevent it from being able to identify any particular locking device, only that the aforementioned device has been heavily concealed and disguised. It can be fooled by hiding. Like, hell yeah. Another solid B tier. It's silly funny, you know? I like silly funny things. Fountain of Youth. Oh, it's fine. Yeah. Whereas the nature of 006 does not warrant any extensive containment, A certain level of secrecy is necessary regarding the object's existence and properties, for obvious reasons. The following procedures are required not for personnel safety, but to deny or hide the knowledge of its effects from the personnel who interact with it. All personnel interacting with it in any physical way are required to wear modified Class 6 BNC suits. Before personnel are allowed to perform procedures, they must be briefed with material SCP-006-B or C. SCP-006-A briefing is the correct one, and is restricted only to those with O5 clearance. To ensure personnel are wearing suits properly, they are to be submerged into a pool of water. Any air bubbles spotted signify a leak in the suit. Procedures with 006 are to be carried out under extreme surveillance. In case of contact with 006, the commander in charge will announce procedure 006 XI-12, I think that's Z, which the personnel have been briefed to believe mean high toxicity is present and they must evacuate. 3. Any procedure in which liquid is acquired from 006 must be approved by 3 O5 level personnel. The liquid is to be transferred in a quad sealant container and under armed guard. 4. If at any time personnel come into contact with it or liquid from it, they are to be confined and terminated after sufficient studies are done. Due to the nature of 006, the most effective termination method is incineration. For the full report, see the SCP-006 TER-05. I'm not sure what the TER stands for there, but description. SCP-006 is a very small spring located 60 kilometers west of Astrakhan. Foundation Command was aware of its existence since the 19th century, but were unable to secure it until 1991 due to political reasons. On the spot of the spring, a chemical factory has been constructed as a disguise, with the majority of laborers under Foundation and/or Russian control. The liquid emitted from the spring has been chemically identified as simple mineral water in 1902, but has the unusual property of, quote, health. Ingesting the liquid produces the following properties in human beings: the ability to regenerate DNA damaged by sufficient duplication, heightened excitement of cellular duplication, vastly improved abilities in the repair of damaged tissue, and a frightening increase in the effectiveness of the human immune system. Upon testing the liquid on animal subjects, hostile bacteria and viral agents were destroyed immediately. Many reptiles and birds were unaffected, while higher primates experienced the same benefits as humans. Oh wait, actually, I know what I can do here. Honestly, I'd say this is another A tier. I really do like how most of the article is just dedicated to, like, showing that, you know, the higher command of the Foundation, they really care more about themselves than anything else. Especially in the early days of the Foundation, like the SCP Foundation wiki and everything. It was supposed to be like... It was supposed to be like a real company a bit more, I feel like. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, 007. Wait, which one is this? Let me actually... Yeah, I will go back. Oh yeah, Abdominal Planet. Okay, so... SCP-007 is to be contained in a sealed room measuring 10 meters on each side. Room is to be furnished comfortably as a living area, along with whatever items are requested by blank, hereafter referred to as subject, given that providing subject with requested items would not compromise security. Subject is not to be allowed to leave the room and is to be detained with force if necessary. Need a bit of throat, you know? Dry. SCP-007 is located within a cavity in the abdomen of subject. Subject is a Caucasian male, physically approximately 25 years of age. Subject claims to be 28, and 167. 176 centimeters in height. Most of subject's abdomen, muscles, skin, and organs is absent. though subject does not appear to suffer because of this. Instead of normal flesh, a sphere composed of soil and water is present, though it does not actually come into contact with subject's body at any point. The sphere appears to be, in most respects, a miniature near duplicate of the Earth, approximately 60 centimeters in diameter, although continental alignment is not consistent with that of any alignment known in Earth's history. The sphere has its own weather patterns and negligible gravitational pull, in addition to microscopic organisms somewhat resembling those. The ... I wonder what the ... could have been about. 6, 7. Yeah, resembling those of modern-day Earth inhabiting it. 2 intelligent species have been observed, though contact and communication with either has yet to be made. Technology levels of observed species must be checked at least once a week, and as of blank blank, are approximately equal to that of 15th century Earth. Subject claims to be named redacted, but no records of such a person can be found. Subject does not require food or water, and while he has been observed consuming both, what happens to such substances after being swallowed is unknown. Subject is intelligent, IQ has been measured at 128, and amiable, and regards the planet in his abdomen as a minor curiosity about his body. Subject seems to experience no stress about his unusual condition. When questioned about the planet's origins, Subject replied, "I just woke up one day, and there it was. I don't have any idea how it got there." Subject has provided a social security number and driver's license number and requested that they be checked against known records. When checked, it was discovered that neither had yet been allocated. Dr. Blank has a weekly chess game with Subject, during which Subject's mental health is evaluated. Dr. Blank reports that Subject does not seem to mind the restricted living environment and has yet to attempt to escape or show signs of violence or mental illness, though he has repeatedly requested a computer with an internet connection. It is recommended that this not be provided as it may be used to compromise security, which makes sense. I would say that's another B tier. It's pretty solid overall. Just a bit lacking in some ways, I feel like. I don't know, like it just feels like it's a bit much. Which one was this again? Yeah, like it just feels like -7 is not quite. I don't really want to say like what I would want it to be there, but like I would have loved to have a bit more of a description of it, maybe like some kind of test log or something. And I get that it's very early on and whatnot, but yeah, this is the zombie virus. So this one is fun. Special containment procedures. 008 samples have been deemed classified extreme biological hazards, and all related protocols apply. Incineration and irradiation measures will be deployed in the event of political or military action, which may result in the facility being dismantled, a power failure, or zero communications from operatives or outside channels during any given 8-hour period. The quarantine period for operatives leaving the facility is 4 months. If a breach has occurred, incineration and irradiation measures shall be deployed. It should be the policy of all G2 sites to not prepare an evacuation procedure. 008 is a complex prion. Oh yeah, this is description. It's a complex prion, samples of which are stored in each of the known G2 sites. Research into it is highly classified and primarily aimed at preventing research, which may lead to the synthesis of SCP-008 in the distant future. Traits of the prion include 100% infectiousness, 100% lethality, transmission through exposed mucous membranes and all bodily fluids, and it's not airborne or waterborne. Symptoms of infection with 008 manifest no more than 3 hours after exposure and include flu-like symptoms with high fever, plus severe dementia in later stages. Damn. Coma onset approximately 20 hours after first symptoms appear and 12 hours after noticeable dementia. Coma onset will be considered onset of death. a period of sporadic cellular necrosis occurs, which comes to resemble gangrene. Surviving tissue assumes its original function and is highly resilient. Red blood cells greatly increase oxygen storage capacity, resulting in slower blood flow and increased muscle endurance and strength. Nervous and muscular systems are unaffected by total organ failure for several hours. Metabolism may decrease to extremely low levels, allowing subject to survive for over 10 years without nutrition. High blood viscosity results in negligible blood flow from gunshot, puncture, and slashing injuries. Conditioned behavior, motor controls, and instinctive behavioral mechanisms are damaged, and cognitive abilities are severely... Don't want to say that word, even though I'm autistic. I still don't want to say that word. And erratic. Animals experience excessive brain necrosis and are inactive. Subject can adapt to its damaged nervous systems, but it is limited to basic physical activities, including standing up, balancing on two legs, walking, biting, grabbing, and crawling. Subject will energetically move towards sights, sounds, and smells it associates with living humans. Subject will attempt to ingest living humans if physical contact is made. Neutralizing fully infected subjects requires significant cranial trauma. There is strong evidence to suggest that the SCP itself did not form naturally on Earth, since variants of similar complexity would have displaced much of the ecosystem. In 1959, I can't read, a short collaborative effort with the USSR to locate G2 sites and eliminate 008 was negotiated following their discovery. The status of 008 in Russian custody has, since collaboration ended, is unknown. Addendum-1. SCP-500 has been found to be able to completely cure 008 even in the advanced stages of the disease, which that is Panacea, if I recall correctly, which will be in a later stream. Yeah. It's the SCP that can cure literally anything. But 008, honestly, I'd say that's an S tier right there. Like, it makes perfect sense for there to be a zombie virus kind of thing within the SCP universe, considering all the other shit that's there, that's, like, been made over time and everything. It just makes complete sense for that to be the case. Yeah. Anyway, 009, Red Ice. This is another one. Kind of like, the first two. I believe, at least. Let me make sure. Yeah. Although it is different to, 02 and 03, because... So, not really going to read the containment procedures here. Want to get through some of them fast. If it's a more interesting one, I will, but, SCP-009 is approximately blank liters of a substance which superficially resembles distilled water, H2O, except with a distinct bright red hue. The red hue is discernible in all phases and serves as the most expedient method of identifying contaminated matter before its anomalous properties manifest. In contrast to mundane water, SCP-009 assumes a liquid phase at temperatures between -100 degrees and 0 degrees Celsius, and a solid state above those temperatures. At temperatures below -100 Celsius, it vaporizes into a gaseous phase similar to steam. Examinations of the atomic structure have proved inconclusive. The substance appears to be identical to normal water molecules, with the exception of redacted in contrast to standard laws of enthalpy. So basically it's just reverse. Wait, what's back? Oh no. Oh no, the thing is back. The thing behind me is back. No. Whatever, man. But yeah, no, it's clearly basically reverse temperature kind of thing is what it's getting at, where it's, it shows higher heat, like the higher the heat level, the higher the temperature, it's gonna get solid, and then it's gonna get it's gonna turn into a liquid at a lower temperature, and then even lower than that, it turns into a gas, which I think is cool. Dr. Blank's site, Blank's resident expert on xenospatial physics, suggests that SCP-009 may originate in a universe with alternate physical laws. The most hazardous property of 009, however, is its ability to contaminate normal H2O. When in contact with any aqueous solution, SCP-009 will, through unknown mechanisms, transfer its anomalous properties to other objects and creatures. Testing has shown it to be capable of assimilating ice, steam, tea, fruit juice, seawater, blood, and data expunge. Wonder what data expunge could be. The time it takes for this process to occur varies depending on temperature and the exact chemical composition of affected matter, and had been observed as taking between 3 minutes and blank hours. Experiments on D-class personnel have illustrated the process of conversion by the substance, which has been found to follow a consistent pattern. 1. Initial exposure. Subject is exposed to 009, and it begins assimilating any moisture present on the exposed surface. Creatures in this stage do not commonly notice any unusual symptoms except for a slight warming sensation. Surface conversion. Frost begins to form on the exposed area as the heat produced by the subject and 009 itself raises its temperature above 0 Celsius. This stage can take anywhere from 1 minute to blank hours, during which time subjects begin to feel redacted crystals from the epidermis. Deep tissue conversion. Exponential increase in temperature of 009 causes runaway reaction throughout subject's body, resulting in redacted. Actual blood loss is minimal due to ice crystals redacted, allowing subjects to remain alive and conscious for up to blank hours. 4. Data expunged. Testing on D-class personnel was discontinued as of April 23rd, 20 blank. 2000 and blank. Subject was found in blank Alaska. I can't speak. Wish I could, but in 19 blank. The Foundation became involved after reports were obtained from the native blank tribe, who came across the mangled bodies of a team of seal hunters which had apparently been shipwrecked blank kilometers from the village. All victims were found encased in red ice. Cause of death recorded as internal bleeding, though closer examination found redacted. It is surmised that the low ambient temperatures in the area stopped the freezing process. Or slowed, rather. This prolonged the time to total conversion by blank hours, and allowed the victims to remain conscious until data expunged. Origin of SCP-009 is currently unknown. Investigation into similar events or materials in the area is ongoing. Evidence at the scene suggests redacted, possibly involving SCP blank. See Exploration Log 009-1 for additional details, which I probably won't include here just because I think at this point my goal is going to be the first 50 today. Because this is, of course, taking a good bit of time to get through. Addendum. After initial report and retrieval of specimens, it was confirmed that the arachnoid entity found by MTF-B7, see attached file, was indeed a previously unknown instance of 3023, is the one that it's talking about, which is... That's... Yeah, I'll get to that eventually. Investigation has revealed the instance originated in Redacted as a result of data expunged. After repeated inquiries, it should be noted that the portion of coastline upon which the initial victims were found was barren rock approximately blank meters from the seashore and was sufficiently dry and cold to prevent significant contamination of the surrounding area. Had the site been closer to the water, there is little doubt an extinction level event would have ensued. Consideration of upgrading SCP-009 to Keter class under review. Addendum. Supercooling of 009 for the purposes of experimentation is disallowed until further notice. Personnel are advised that liquid nitrogen is only to be used on the subject in controlled amounts, and only until temperatures have reached acceptable levels. Related note. Possible application of SCP-009 in cold fusion research pending evaluation, which that makes sense. Memo from O5 Command. We've decided to keep this thing Euclid for now. We understand the concerns raised, but as long as you keep the power on and nobody goes near its containment area, there shouldn't be a problem. That's why we're keeping it in sight blank, after all. As for the fusion research, we're putting a pin in that for now. Frankly, we don't have it in the budget for another snafu-like site blank. The salvage team still hasn't found Dr. Redacted's redacted. And then cross-testing report thing. The following experiment record was recovered via a chance occurrence of SCP-507, shifting into a universe in which the described test was carried out using SCP-107, which 507 is a universe hopper that can't control it. He just occasionally gets shifted into another universe and then back to ours. But 107, which one's 107 again? Interesting. Again, get to that one eventually. Input, 10 milliliters of SCP-009. Result, red snow, quote-unquote, fell in test area for 27 minutes with moderate intensity. Grass growing in test area began runaway reaction, which ended with the entire area, quote-unquote, being frozen within minutes. Notably, anti-enthalpic reaction of SCP-009 did not extend past the effective radius of SCP-107 for reasons still under investigation. Non-grass plants in area turned bright red in color, greatly expanded, and mutated to display cyan-colored, quote-unquote, tentacles, similar to those of species Drosera capensis. Mucilage produced by these tentacles later found to be tiny beads of SCP-009. How the plant is able to survive with 009 integrated into its cell structure is currently under investigation, with preliminary hypothesis being the plant is a reflection of flora from the substance's native universe. Again, it is another like transformation type of one, but I really think it is cooler than the first two. Honestly. The fact that it does go a lot more in depth on what happened, and it has the whole alternate universe thing. It incorporates a couple of other SCPs into it. If any of y'all want to like challenge me on any of these or have your own opinions, please tell me, because I want to make this decently well. SCP-010. Control colors. Or sorry, colors of control. My bad. Now, description. SCP-0010, or 010, what am I saying? Consists of a series of 6 apparently identical cast iron colors with numbered metal tags and one remote control. The control is SCP-010-1. Colors are SCP-02 through 010-7. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. The colors contain intricate electronic components and are powered by small 5mm diameter, 2mm thick, 100-volt batteries. These batteries are rechargeable. The remote is a heavy black box. You're good, dude. No worries. The remote is a heavy black box resembling an old-style handheld radio transmitter/receiver with a primitive blue/white cathode ray screen and a series of more than 100 unlabeled buttons, as well as a frequency tuner. Through trial and error, the frequencies of all 6 currently found colors have been discovered. A label in Russian is stamped into the metal along with a logo consisting of workers building a pyramid. No official Russian corporation or government agency uses this logo or matches the words stamped into the metal. Placing the collar around the neck of a person and securing it allows one to control their every movement with the remote. It is also capable of producing an adrenal response and activating or deactivating the sympathetic nervous system. The most abnormal feature of the collars is the effect they have on the body morphology. They allow the user of the remote to reconfigure the shape of the victim to an extent that is apparently only limited by the knowledge of the programming language of the remote. Addendum-1. History. It was discovered in the basement of a lone man in the Midwestern United States after a local disappearance was connected to him. When the police raided the man's house, they found -10 as well as several dead bodies. One of the bodies was identified to be the man. The others were several other missing persons. Cause of death seemed to be mass suicide. However, there were signs of significant struggle first. Addendum -2, disassemble experiment. Test 1. -2 taken apart piecewise, the parts labeled and several photographs taken, then reassembled. Result. After reassembly, -2 continues to function. Test 2. -8 constructed identically to -2, but with the closest approximations available to the unreplicable components. Result. -8 fails to function. Test 3. Unreplicable components from -2 placed into proper locations on -8. Result. -2 ceases functioning with the removal of components. -8 begins functioning. Test 4. Components returned to -2. Replicable components in -2 replaced randomly with replicas. Result. -2 begins functioning with return of components. Changing replicable components for replicas does not significantly reduce functionality. Replacement of a damaged transistor decreased time from transmission to effect of -2 response to commands entered in the remote by 12%. -3. SCP-010 has been demonstrated to work more effectively in creating unskilled labor than for any other task. The logo is apt. I mean, I guess that's fair. I would say 10 is another A tier. I might actually end it there for today just because I hadn't really planned out exactly how I was going to rank these. But I am going to start streaming a lot more regularly. My next stream is probably going to be, honestly, either tomorrow if I'm feeling up for it. It wiener. What do you mean it wiener is? What? Oh, the tier list? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably stream tomorrow if I'm up for it. If I don't stream tomorrow, then I'm going to plan to probably stream Thursday. I'm a bit busy on Wednesday, but yeah. I will see everyone there. Gonna stop the recording.